Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Some faces have gone, and the places are rearranged. If you could read my mind, you know it's a crying shame. And I'm here to say something lost is something gained. So spend some time on the bright side. Take a ride till we find someday life is a crime to use your hindsight. So take your time. We're coming back from yesterday.
Colorful, rich, bold, and romantic. Italy is all this and more. So I've been told. I've never been myself, but my aunt and uncle have been a few times, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. Besides that, I watch KPBS. What is it about Italians? They're just so cool. They love their food, their families, their music, and their heritage. They exude confidence, charisma, and of course hospitality. This I do know firsthand. Throughout high school I had several Italian friends, and there were times I ate dinner at their house more than my own. Italians are my kind of people. Fortunately for us, the heritage and influence of Italy can be found right here in San Diego, in a great part of town called Little Italy. In the mid-1800s, a migration began from Italy to America, and many came in hopes of opportunity and a new beginning. Once they arrived, they soon realized all the stories of gold-paved streets weren't true at all. But it didn't matter. They were prepared to work hard, and work hard they did. Several went to work constructing the railroad west and settling in San Francisco. But after the big quake, many came south to San Diego in search of safer conditions. Once in San Diego, the Italians were very surprised. It's funny how this place has a way of doing that to people. They were surprised at the beauty, the space, and the many similarities to their hometown back in the old country. San Diego was perfect. In 1900, there were 116 Italians living in San Diego, and by 1920, census showed 1,000 Italians had made a small community around San Diego Bay their home. Most of the immigrants were fishermen that had come to America from towns near Genova, Porticello, Palermo, and Sicily. In Italy, fishing was a way of life, so when they saw how good the fishing was in San Diego, it was like they had died and went to heaven. Most of the immigrants were young fishermen that had followed in the footsteps of generations before them, and their desire was to become great like their grandfathers. Back then, the great fishermen were the Michael Jordans of the time, and well respected. Tuna became the catch of choice among the local boats, and the first tuna cannery opened in 1910, and by the early 30s, other canneries opened, including the Westgate at the foot of Laurel Street, and Van Camp Seafoods. At the height of it all, 90% of all the tuna on the West Coast was being packed right here in San Diego, and over 200 boats called San Diego their home port. We were the tuna capital of the world. The Italians not only fished it, but hundreds worked alongside in the canneries too. It was the livelihood of Little Italy. Unfortunately, as they say, all good things must come to an end. The war broke out and the government took over all the tuna boats. They painted them gray and shipped them off to the South Pacific for military use. Now, when I heard that, I was surprised. I couldn't imagine my livelihood being taken away like that. Many of the fishermen went off to war and Little Italy began to change. Eventually, the tuna industry moved to the Asian markets and the canneries began to close one by one. Although it was a devastating blow to the community, the Italian families diversified by opening their own businesses, which included grocery stores, restaurants, and barbershops. Today, Little Italy is a thriving family business community, and one of those businesses is Ascenti's Pasta. A rope maker by trade, Umberto Ascenti came to the U.S. in the 1950s with high hopes and big dreams. And Umberto's wife, Adriana, had a big dream of her own. Adriana had visions of a family-run business that would provide San Diego with the best fresh pasta in town. Now, for the past 27 years, that dream has been reality.
Luigi.
Oh yeah.
This is my son Luigi.
Umberto introduced me to his son Luigi. Luigi is kind of the front man of the operation. As you come in, you'll notice Ascenti's offers more than just pasta. They stock several Italian specialty items, fresh sauces, and they also provide a full-service deli. Next, Umberto led me to the back where I met his other son, Roberto. Roberto is more into the manufacturing end of the business, and today he was making a striped spinach cheese ravioli. He started out by putting a roll of pasta dough into this flattening machine. Then he began adding strips of spinach pasta to make the green stripes. I always wondered how they did that. After several pass-throughs, Roberto gets the pasta to the perfect thickness, then rolls it up. Next, he filled this cylinder with a special cheese mixture and placed it on the machine along with 2 rolls of pasta. After a few instructions from Roberto, it looked like it was my turn.
Hey, come on, don't just stand there. Get to work.
All right. You want me to do this?
Yeah, I'll load you up and get you going. You know what to do here, right?
All right.
Your hands out of the machine, you know, go home with all 10 digits.
I'm a little scared, but I think I can do it. Okay.
It started out nice and slow, and I thought, I can do this. But about now, I felt like I was in an I Love Lucy episode. You know, the one where Lucy and Ethel are in the chocolate factory. Roberto moved me to packaging duty, thinking it'd be more my speed. And sure enough, I got the pat on the back approval.
Run away. That's a good job. Keep it up. Good, perfect, perfect.
All this hard work paid off. It was lunchtime, and Luigi prepared a killer plate of ravioli. It doesn't get any better than this. At Ascenti's, the pasta is prepared fresh every day with no preservatives. The boys really know how to do it right. Just as we were finishing lunch, Luigi's wife Carmen shows up to do what she does best, and that is to make tiramisu. Tiramisu is a classic Italian dessert. Carmen said the recipe was brought back from Italy, but with no instructions. The ingredients include home-brewed espresso, separated egg yolks and egg whites, and of course, mascarpone. Through much trial and error, Carmen has it down. After folding it all together, she dips Italian biscuits into the espresso mixture to create the first layer. Then comes a mascarpone mixture. More biscuits, more mascarpone, and cocoa on the top. If you've never had tiramisu, it's the best. Tiramisu, translated, means to lift you up, which is perfect. By the time I left Ascenti's, I was feeling pretty lifted up myself, not only by the wonderful dessert, but by the Ascenti family themselves. The Italian hospitality is alive and well in Little Italy. Life is a series of peaks and valleys. For me, how you handle the valleys shows character. Maybe that's why I like this little neighborhood so much. Back in the early 1960s, residents braced for yet another big change that would test the faith and the strong family bond the Italians are so well known for. The city began construction on a 2.5-mile section of Interstate 5 that would run directly through the heart of the tight-knit community. Many families were displaced and forced to leave the neighborhood they loved so much. Over the years, Little Italy became run down and almost deserted, but the locals wouldn't have it. After a huge revitalization plan, today